Hi friends, welcome back to Stones Hill Homestead. I'm Kim and today I am going to go over the Pantry Challenge for 2024. We want to just go over a few things just so you understand why we do the Pantry Challenge. And I've wrote a couple things up here and I just want to share, plus I have some notes down here that I'm going to glance at every now and then as well. And drinking my lovely mug of Java, and we'll go through each step. And please ask questions if you have questions down in the comments. But first, I want to thank Jessica from Three Rivers Homestead. She is the one that is the original collaborator of this. Go check out her channel by using hashtag 3 Rivers Challenge. You'll see everybody included in this, or go to her channel at 3 Rivers Homestead. And you can watch all of her videos on it. There's a lot of information out there, and her original collaboration now has really grown to many people that are involved in this. And we just want you all to check out her channel and give her some love on her channel by liking and subscribing as well. So we're going to get started. Pantry Challenge 2024. The first reason that we do this is, number one, to work through our bulk food. Anything that we have stored, bought, purchased over the past year or so, we've planted, harvested, and preserved. We're going to work through that in January and February. And the reason we do that is so that we can get our pantry shelves empty and jars empty for the coming gardening season. We want to do that so that, one, product isn't going bad, and two, to make room. That's what we need to do. We need to make room for what the growing season that's coming upon us very quickly. The next reason is to use up those random ingredients. Who of us hasn't went to the store and bought something that you thought, man, I'm just gonna love? The item that comes to my mind is Alfredo sauce in a jar. I normally make Alfredo sauce myself. However, I have 2 jars on my shelf and I don't know why I bought them or why they're even on my pantry shelf. So I'm gonna be intentional and I'm going to use those up in something. I want to get those off the shelf. I'm watching the expiration dates. They expire in April of 2024. And I just want to use those up, one, so they don't go to waste. And even though there's an expiration date, it's not the best by date. It's common sense. Open it, smell it, taste it. If it has that off flavor, off taste, or off smell, then you pitch it if it's expired. I am pretty frugal with my purchases, so I will use things and I will push the envelope with that best by date or expiration date. There are certain things I don't. I am very careful about lunch meats. If I buy them in the refrigerator, I don't want to use those well past their expiration date, because meat is a tricky one. It's hard to determine if it's good or not, and you don't want to end up with any bad things like food poisoning. The next reason is number 3, forgotten freezer items. Dig through your freezer and you get down to the bottom and there is a bag of either frozen chicken, frozen vegetables, pizza dough, just a variety of things that have slid down there. And this is a good time to go through that freezer, check out everything that you have, see what you have. And there are apps that you can go and, let's say you have a bag of, we'll say diced green peppers. There's an app that you can go to, a recipe app, and says, or you ask the Google or whoever, recipes that include diced green peppers, and it'll bring up a variety of recipes that you can use those ingredients in. And that's often helpful for those off the wall or small amounts, or just ingredients that you didn't know you had, just to use those up. The next reason is the one that we like the most, is saving money. We save so much money in January and February because we're not going to the store. We are not rushing to the store because we don't know what to plan for dinner. We are meal planning. So we are saving money by not running to the store or running and getting takeout or running to the restaurant or wherever, whatever you may do. And we want to use what we've grown, and we've worked hard in the garden all year, and we want to save that money in January and February by using up that product or produce or vegetables or meat, whatever you preserved. And we don't want to go to the store when we have wonderful food at home that we know what's in it, we know how we've prepared it, and there's no preservatives in it. But saving money is our big one. Last year, I believe I was around 12 or 15, we'll say $15. I don't want to go too much over that, but $15 is what we spent from January 1st until February 28th, I believe. I don't believe it was leap year last year, but through the month of February, we spent $15. And one of the items that we did end up getting was my husband went and bought ice cream, a half a gallon of ice cream. He's an adult. We all do what we got to do, and he was in the mood for ice cream. I would much rather him go buy a half a gallon of ice cream at the grocery store that will go across many meals rather than going to the Dairy Queen or to another ice cream shop and spending $5 or $6 on one dessert. So that $2.50 that he spent on that half a gallon ice cream, it's not a huge spend, I should say. It's not something that we normally do, but he was in the mood for ice cream. And like I said, I'd much rather him use our grocery budget on something like that will go over several meals or snacks versus one-time trip to the store or the Dairy Queen. It's a great time to try new recipes. You have to become very creative on your ingredient list. I have some things that I have put up or preserved in my pantry from my garden last year, and one of them is rutabaga. Rutabaga is a vegetable. It's a root vegetable. It's very similar to a turnip. Well, we didn't know we even liked them. So last year we planted them, we tried them and realized, wow, these are really good. We really enjoyed the rutabaga in fresh eating, and I preserved them, and they have a little bit stronger taste when you preserve them in a jar. And so I am using or looking for recipes that use rutabaga in them for my meal plan. And the new recipes I will be challenged with is using rutabaga. I want to use that up as well. Soup, stews, what have you, it doesn't matter, but I am looking for recipes. But we do love the roasted rutabaga out of the jar. We do take it out of the jar, we season it, we roast that in the oven, and it is a great side dish. So we do know one new item that we will be using this winter through January and February. And I've already said it before in these other, is being intentional. You just want to really think about your shelves. You want to walk to them. You want a meal plan based on what you see. You want a meal plan based on what you're feeling like eating. We have an abundance this year of tomatoes. I have tomatoes that I still need to process from the garden in my freezer, which I will do in January and February, and I will can that up as I empty jars. It's a great practice that once you have 7 jars empty is to fill them back up with something, whether it be soup, stews, meals in a jar, which I do quite a bit of those, or juices. And tomatoes going to be that. It's going to be that salsa, that tomato juice. I'll be making some beef stew with that, red beans and rice with that. I use the tomato juice to make my rice, so it gives that extra flavor in that rice when I'm cooking it down. And the things that I plan on using up first is your produces, your lettuces, the things that cucumbers that just don't last very long. 2 to 3 weeks is about the tops for some of those. And so you want to use that stuff first. You don't want to have any waste. I have some citrus that we've got that I will use through January and February, oranges and grapefruit, lemons. I have some apples. They will not last probably through the end of March, but they will last definitely through the end of January. So we will use those up through January so we can get our fresh produce, fresh fruit. Then we will switch over to our frozen fruit, which I have blueberries, strawberries, I have mango. What else do I have? I can't really remember. But those are just things that I will be going through my freezer, and I will be using them up in February again to clear that freezer out. We have a butcher. We have a cow being butchered in February, so I'll be canning meat heavily in February and maybe into March when that cow is butchered. So there is a lot of stuff going on in January and February that we don't think about as being a busy time, but it can become very busy during that time when you're canning those things that you normally do, like I said, with butchering and frozen tomatoes for me. The things that we do want to do and we want to really stick to it is the rules that we have set for ourselves. There are no set rules. Everybody does what is good for you and your family because we are all in a different place. My husband and I, we are at a different place than maybe a family of 8 or 6. And so we don't have the volume of food going out that maybe a large family will have. So we need to make our rules based on us. So for January, and many families do this, there is absolutely no spending, no budget for January so that they use everything up in their freezers. One thing like eggs, fresh fruit, fresh veggies, and milk are the big ones. For us in January, no grocery store budget at all. We do not go to the grocery store. That is the rule. That is a hard stop for us. We do not go to the grocery store in January. That is so that we make sure we are really focusing on what needs to be used up and we are meal planning. And we have no problem doing that. And you're probably asking, well, what about milk? We do freeze milk throughout the last part of the year. We use everything up through the first part of the year. And then everything in our freezer, we do buy milk when it's on sale, starting probably October. Whenever we see those half gallons that are on sale, and we do put milk in the freezer for us throughout the winter. We live in an area where getting snowed in isn't really happen much. Once in a while we'll have a bad storm. We're not like Alaska that you may be stuck for days and not being able to get, or weeks, or maybe they just don't go to the grocery store at all during the winter. But the snow here is different. Ours usually only lasts a day or so. The plows are out, their salt trucks are out. We have the infrastructure to clean our roads, and within a couple days, we're good to go again. We're right back to normal. And so I'm not really concerned about running out of those things, but I do keep milk in the freezer just in case I run out and I need milk for a weekend, for baking, just many things. I also have powdered milk, and that will help in those situations for baking as well. We allow ourselves one time to eat out, and that's if we decide to do that. We allow it. We're giving ourselves permission to go out and eat one time with friends, and we try to do that once a month anyway. We just want to spend time with people. And if I decide to not go out and eat, I might invite those friends to come to our house and eat the meal with us. Our grandkids and our kids and their kids, grandkids, This year, they're going to start and try and do the Pantry Challenge in January. Now, they have helped us through the past 2 years. And what initially started the Pantry Challenge for us was I broke my back. My husband had COVID the first year. The second year, I had broke my back. That was January 2022. This year, January 2023, we just did it because we did it. And it worked out great. Like I said, we spent about $15 in February, and that worked out great. But when people think of Pantry Challenge, they often think of catastrophic events. I'm going to get my words out here today. And they think of an apocalypse of some sort. Well, I'm not that person. I am preparing for job loss. I am preparing for injury or illness, and those hit us all since 2020. And many of you experience the same things. Even in healthcare, I got sent home. I was a traveler. I got sent home. All the sleep centers closed. We were not able to continue to do CPAP or titration studies because of what the COVID virus was doing to people and going into the air. So until they got those safety measures in place, we had to shut down for a time period. And then, of course, I broke my back. That put me out of work, no income. My husband's self-employed. He broke his ankle. Just many things. And I don't want to continue to repeat myself because I don't want anybody to panic over anything. This is just being prepared. I don't know if things will happen for you or to you, but I just want you to be prepared. And the last thing you should have to worry about is where your next meal is. So if you prepare for this, and hopefully that will help you do that. In February, we do allow us $10 a week. So that's $40 for the entire month, maybe $45 depending on how the weeks fall. But we do allow ourselves $10 a week as a grocery budget. And like I said, last year we didn't even touch that. But we also allow 2 times of eating out, and there's a reason for that. One is Valentine's Day, and couples, they like to do that. We like to go out to eat. We like to have a special meal. And even if we don't go out to eat, we do like to have a special meal, which I'm happy to cook. It may be that I'll run to the butcher shop or run to the freezer in this case, and I will get a couple ribeyes for us, and we will do that on the grill. And yes, we grill in the middle of winter, so we're pretty good at that. But we do allow 2 times to eat out for that reason. February is giving us permission to celebrate us, and we're going into the busy season again. And I know that with harvest, with planting, with gardening, with my husband's job, with my job, there's a lot of times we don't get time together. And sometimes by the end of February, we just don't want to cook. And that going out to eat, that date night is kind of special. So that is our rules for the 2024 Pantry Challenge. And like I said, you make your own rules. You work with your family and figure out what you want to do. And we want to just encourage you, even if it's only for 3 weeks or 2 weeks, and you just don't go out to eat for 2 weeks, just to try and get a taste of what not going to the store is about. Going through your pantry, making new meals, helping your kids and grandkids learn new skill set. 2 years ago, when I broke my back in 2022, we made Pop-Tarts for the first time with our grandkids. They love those Pop-Tarts. And we made the crust, we filled them, we baked them, and it was just a great memory that we made. So I want to thank each and every one of you for being a part of 2023 for Stones Hill Homestead. We are blessed. We are thankful. We have just been so encouraged been so encouraged by each of you that have subscribed, have shared our videos, which that is the best way to help us share our videos on your local social media, on whether it be Facebook or Instagram, whatever you prefer. That is such a great help to us, and it really does bless us. Our goal was to be at 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2023. And I don't think we're going to make it, but that's okay because we love doing this. We love making these videos. Not always is the content for everybody, but we know that we are all different. We're all at a different place in our journey. And I just love sharing our lives with you. I love sharing what we do, why we do it. And I love to help Jessica at Three Rivers Homestead as well to build her channel. And there are so many other channels out there that are involved. So click on that hashtag, which is Three Rivers Challenge. Click on that hashtag and it'll take you to all the channels that are participating. And we look forward to seeing you in 2024 with our Pantry Challenge meals starting January 1st. Thanks everyone. And as always, be blessed and laugh as much as you breathe. Have a great year, everyone.